Dumpster diving.
What's next? In the dumpster.
Hiker lost on Colorado mountain ignored calls from rescuers because he didn't recognize the number. It looks like you were tweaking your own nipples. You can't. All right, let's try that again.
No, I'm only doing that take, so you have to use it. I just don't think he was lost. I think he was out there, and then he got maybe sidetracked or lost or went off the trail, but then he was like probably on mushrooms and just having, a nice little trip by himself and found his way back. And who's going to answer an unavailable or unmarked call, blocked call, or number you don't know when you're on mushrooms in the woods?
Mm-hmm. Bridget's found the solution.
This is my whole theory.
All right, then we've got...
I guarantee this fucker was a millennial.
Probably didn't want to be around his wife anymore.
I don't care, Susan. He's like, I don't care, Tracy.
You say you're not going to miss me? Fine. See if I come home tonight.
Okay, Brian Johnson, nicknamed Liver King, swears by a caveman diet. He eats raw liver, testicles, and bone marrow every day and claims it has transformed his life.
Raw meat?
Ugh.
Testicles.
This guy does actually need ivermectin, to use as a dewormer. What does he mean an ancestral diet? Like the pre-fire diet? So 2.3 million years ago?
Uh-huh.
That's pretty ancestral.
I know, it's so bad for you. And then in the article, they're like, please don't eat raw meat. They're saying how unhealthy it is.
Yeah, you can get all kinds of shit. Like worms.
Worms. Yeah, parasites.
This is like the Joe Rogan diet crossed with the Jordan Peterson diet.
Yeah.
Well, those two pictures they had of him, side by side. One was, with raw meat in his hand. And then the other one, it looked like he was ate the raw meat and had the meat sweats.
I've had the meat sweats all week.
Hey-o.
I wasn't home, Sam. You can't make that joke. I've been out of town. It's because I was eating a lot of filet.
The baby wanted filet.
The baby wanted bone marrow. Actually, I was eating a lot of bone marrow, but it was cooked, not raw.
Yeah.
My child has very fancy tastes. She only eats filet and bone marrow, the finest bone marrow you can find.
A study finds all the fast food you love contains hormone-disrupting chemicals.
Joe Rogan was right. Yet again. Because he was talking about this when we were at the end of our last episode.
Yeah.
Phthalate.
He was saying it's a pH, but it's pronounced...
Phthalates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phthalates.
And I was like, okay. Trying to keep up with Joe on his science.
Uh-huh.
He does know a lot about science. And this is science-based evidence. And he was talking about this.
Uh-huh.
And how they're in everything and they're making Winkies shrink.
Right. And the taints. Once he started talking about taints, I was like, okay. He's saying the word taint a lot.
Yeah. I also heard this about tinfoil. You're not supposed to cook your food in tinfoil. But I knew that ages ago from smoking heroin. You always had to cure your tinfoil of all of the chemicals because you can't cook it on the shiny side.
You just cook on the dull side.
Sam knew this too.
I didn't know
Not
this.
from heroin.
Not from heroin.
Because
From cooking.
I'm not a cook or a former drug addict, so I had no idea.
This needs to be Sam and I's cooking show. Here's what I've learned from cooking drugs, and here's what Sam's learned from cooking actual food.
And you're both just teaching me how to cook.
And we're teaching Maggie how to cook.
Activists hold small dong march to end shaming of tiny penises. It's just whatever I say, I'm going to put my foot in my mouth.
I feel like this is that moment where I'm like, no, small winkies are fine. It's like, say it, big dicks are better. Say it, Bridget. Big dicks are better. They had signs and stuff that were all dongs matter. All dongs matter is all lives matter.
This sent us down a rabbit hole in the writer room, and we wound up on a small penis dating website called Dinky One.
I know. I think the whole thing was sponsored by Dinky One, wasn't it?
Which
I
one
don't
are you
think
This
so.
should have been
dating?
Capitalism Always Wins.
Oh, the dinky one.
Yeah, so like you can go on there and then not, people know what they're getting into. A lot of women like small dinkies. I'm not one of them.